GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Oh, hell yeah, this is Stone Cold Steve Austin, and you are listening to the greatest fantasy football podcast known to man. This is the Fantasy Football Bros podcast, and if you like what Chazz and Jay are giving you, give me a hell yeah.
Here we go. Hey, everything on three. Number three. Wait on one. Oh, wait on three. 1, 2, 3. Hey, next up. Eyes on three. Everything on 3 and 1. Everything.
You are now listening to the Fantasy Football Bros podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Football Bros podcast. It's your boy, Chazz, and I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jay Coleman. Jay Coleman, what's up, dog?
What's up, boys?
And
There's no better introduction than that. The way Jay just stares down, waiting for him to be called.
And then, of course, we are joined by the no nickname, no nonsense.
Yes. What's up, guys? How we doing?
AVH, what's up, dog?
What up?
Have we been on since I went to Nashville? I don't even know.
Dude, I don't think so. Man, it's been a bit.
No,
Yeah,
we didn't.
We had talked about recording when you got back, but I don't think we ever said anything up.
It's been at least 3 weeks since we recorded.
Yeah, I was in Nashville about a month ago, so wow. Well, I've been on 2 trips since then, man. I'm just gallivanting.
Yeah, so it's your fault.
I'm drinking out of my state capital mug. I just got back from D.C. I took my mother. That's a
J6 mug.
That's my January 6th mug. We got it. They handed it out to us during the ride. I should not say that.
Yeah, we're definitely canceled. You're gonna have the FBI on your doorstep any minute. Were you there?
I was at work watching it on TV, like, oh my god, these idiots. Yeah, idiots. I said it. Okay, and of course, I didn't mean to leave you out of this, bro. Show your butthole to everybody. We know that's what you're gonna do. They can't see it, I don't think. And Pickles is here. Pickles missed me, so that's why she's all over me.
She's going to be the reason why we get canceled. We're showing butthole now.
She's in our last video on the Chazz cast. She spent a good minute like showing her butthole. I didn't even notice because I was looking at another screen, and then I brought the screen up, and I was like, "Back out." Okay, put it down. All right. So, was there any big news today, guys?
I think there was some big news, guys.
Well, let's get it started with.
How about them Bills, baby? Let's go. Hey, how about them?
Yeah. Well, Jay, why don't you explain what happened today, Jay?
Well. You see what had happened was, they said it couldn't be done, and then it was done, and the Bills
they
traded.
They said it couldn't be done. They said it wouldn't be done.
Yeah, and we traded Stefon Diggs.
Unlimited.
I don't know why.
To the Houston Texans.
Yeah, for a bag of chips.
I mean, I was initially shocked when I got the update on my phone.
You were, and I kind of I feel like I helped guide you into it was not as bad as you thought.
No, you didn't guide me at all. I thought about it on my own.
Okay, fair.
You can't take credit for everything, Chazz.
I think everyone probably was somewhat shocked just the fact that we actually did it. And then
I think that was where the shock came in. It was like, oh my God, they actually did it kind of thing. And I also didn't expect there to be a move today.
Yeah.
I expected there to be a move, didn't know what the move was going to be, and I didn't expect it to be today or what it was. So, I mean, 31-year-old receiver who's got $1 billion on your books. What else are you supposed to do?
Also, last year went.
Yeah, he didn't have a great end to the season, and
he was good. He was really good till like week 5, and then the last 11 weeks or so, awful.
I wouldn't say 11. I would definitely say the last 6 for sure. He was not a factor in our 6-game winning streak at the end of the season.
Yeah, but here I actually got him pulled up here. I'll share the screen because there were some good games, but bro, it's not as good as everyone's thinking. So here, let me share the screen with people at home. So it starts from down here and then it goes up. So Monday Night Football, 13 receptions, or is that targets? That's targets. Sorry, 10 receptions, 102 yards. 7 for 66, 8 for $111, 6 for 120, 8 for 121, 10 for 100. And that's it. That's by week 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. By week 7. From week 8 on, 6 for 58, 9 for 70, 6 for 86, 3 for 30, 4 for 27, 6 for 74, 4 for 24, 4 for 48, 5 for 29, 4 for 26, last game of the season, 7 for 78. In that stretch where he was when he was really bad, he had 3 touchdowns. From week 7 did we say on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 week 6 on, he had 3 touchdowns. In the weeks 1 through 5, he had 4 touchdowns. So that's not that good, guys. If we're going to be real, that's not that good. Let's be real.
It's not as good as it should be.
Right. It's not what though from how we started the season, great. And then it just was awful. It went straight downhill. So that's where I'm at with him. And I know I was a little more partial to him too and paying more attention because I traded for him in fantasy football. And I knew the pain of how bad he was. I really did. I was tuned in with it. I really was because I traded for him in the fantasy football.
I had him on one of my teams too the whole year, and I never sat him. Because it's Stef Diggs. Like, how do you sit Stefon Diggs, especially after he got drafted so high? And yeah, so I'm right there with you. Like, especially and as a fantasy player and in a fantasy perspective, he did not have very good weeks. Like the weeks that he was down and got a touchdown saved the week a little bit. Yeah. But those first 5 weeks, especially the Miami game, the first Miami game when he had 120 yards and 3 touchdowns, like, great. I'm like, this is the Stef Diggs that I want on my fantasy team. And then after that, he only had 2 more 100-yard games and, what would we say, 3 touchdowns the entire season?
The first 4 weeks he was good. Yeah, that Miami game was what, week 4? Yeah, or week 3?
Yeah, week 4.
Yeah.
So bye week was week 5.
Yeah, you're right. So it's been 2 years in a row where he fell off at the end of the season. And if you guys remember, and I know you guys remember, but the people at home remember, I was done with him last year at the end of the season. I was. You can look back in the archives. You can look back on the TikTok of my "I'm so scared right now." We only did it once because I thought everyone was going to do it. Nobody did it. But my only "I'm so scared right now" was Stef Diggs. I should look that up and actually play that. But because I don't even honestly remember what it said, but I'd be interested in that, so I'll look that up too. But so we need to attack this from a dual perspective of Bills talk because we are Bills fans and Buffalo natives. We are.
Yeah, I was going to say, to play devil's advocate on what you were saying is, one, if you look at his season stats, they're not.
They don't look bad.
They're not terrible. Yeah. Also, Diggs was way better with Ken Dorsey at the start of the season, and he severely dropped off a cliff kind of when Joe Brady took over the offense.
But here's the thing.
Well, that's because Ken Dorsey's game plan was feed Diggs. Where Joe Brady was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
How about win games?
Which is why Josh Allen did better throwing to everybody else, because Joe Brady was like, we don't have to feed Diggs every single game.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody say too, like what if is Josh going to be better in general? Because is he going to be like out? And I've said this before, but I actually heard somebody else say it and I was happy. Like, is Josh going to actually like look and make his reads and throw the ball to the right player instead of worry about what Stefon Diggs is going to do?
So I wonder if that, obviously that's got to be part of fixing Josh, right? Because we all saw it. look at the targets that he had in the first. Even Diggs' targets last year were way up.
Fantasy Football Bros podcast today.
Stop.
Oh, did you found it?
I didn't mean to play that. Go on. That was an
Oh, that's fine. I was almost done anyway. I mean, his targets were there, and in the first games that he was doing great, he had a high target share. Well, the last half of the season, his targets were under 10 targets, where he was over 10 targets a lot of the time.
Yeah,
so I wonder if that had anything to do with it. And they're like, oh, if we want to fix Josh Allen and him not focusing on one receiver, we have to get rid of that one receiver, bring in a couple of, mid-tier players. And not that, I'm not saying that this is correct. I'm just theorizing here, right? I'm just thinking out loud.
I don't think after we see.
But I don't think Josh was broken.
I know.
So I don't think Josh was ever broken.
No, he's not broken, and like to put this on Josh is wrong because
I agree.
Josh needed Diggs when he came in. He don't need Diggs anymore.
Sure,
he don't. He doesn't need anybody anymore. And I said this in the chat, like everybody thought it was over when Tyreek Hill left Kansas City, and Kansas City went on to win 2 Super Bowls. We haven't won one yet, but I'm just saying, like the offense isn't just dead because Tyreek Hill was gone. Offense isn't dead. Did
you guys hear Kyle Brandt today?
No, I did not.
Dude, look up his post on Twitter. Oh, sorry, X. Can't say Twitter anymore. It's 2024. Look up Kyle Brandt, and he said it so good that it's a business. Guys move on and blah blah blah, and the Bills are not dead because Diggs is not there. He said they're still gonna be good. They just have new receivers to throw to. Just because Diggs is not here anymore, like I agree with him. I don't see.
Well, one player doesn't make or break your team. So I mean, like, are we necessarily going to be better? No. Are we?
But are we going to be
better?
Worse?
Maybe. Yeah, it's unknown.
I think the answer is a no for being worse.
I mean, Brandon Beane even said that he was like, I don't think we're a better team today after trading Diggs right now.
He's cooking something, but here's an interesting stat that I've seen. Here's an interesting stat I've seen. Over the last 10 games of the season, so that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, just about. Stefon Diggs, over the last 10 games of the season, had 422 yards. That is horrible. To pair that with the last 10 games of the season, Khalil Shakir, who I don't think is God, that. I don't think he's great. Had 462 yards. Okay, so over the last 10 games, Khalil Shakir had 40 more yards than Stefon Diggs. That's 4 yards a game, whatever. But, and here's the caveat, boys. In that time, Khalil Shakir had his 422 yards on 38 targets. Stefon Diggs had his 462 yards on 80 targets. That should tell you all you need to know about how Stefon Diggs was towards the end of the season. So it's one of 3 options, and there's no other options. It's one of 3 options. He went downhill and he's declining, is option 1. Option 2 is he's still really good, and the Bills just phased him out of the system, but that doesn't placate to the 80 targets. You got 80 targets you need to produce. Or option 3, he's being a diva bitch like I said he is, and he's purposely shitting on himself and the team to get traded. There's no other options other than those 3. There is not. He's either bad.
The 80 targets thing, I mean, 80 targets seems to me that you're part of a game plan, right? So I don't think it was because it's because he wasn't being used or being utilized. I think he just wasn't doing anything with his opportunities. And, everybody has brought up, I think it was the last game of the season, or he had, it was 3 catches on 7 targets, and he had 2 massive drops.
That was a playoff game, wasn't it?
I think it was a playoff game.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, I don't agree with I agree with what you said. Those 3 things could be the thing, but I think we can eliminate the 80 targets being not utilized, right? Or not part of a game plan, and he's being a bit. I think he's just being a bitch about everything.
I mostly agree with those three things. The only thing I would add to it is like the not utilized one is it could be Joe Brady and it could be not getting open, double coverage, shit like that.
Sure,
So, but
you're 100% right. But he's still getting 80 targets, though.
He is.
Yeah.
But also, like, I mean, if you look at a lot of those targets were like 3-yard passes that didn't go anywhere or whatever. There was a lot of short shit.
I mean,
like
there was a
that's
lot
what
of
they
short
do
game
for
there.
Shakir too.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. Again, this we're gonna bring it up because I found it, guys. If you don't have it, follow us on TikTok, the Fantasy Football Bros. I haven't watched this since I recorded it a year ago. So this was my take on Stefon Diggs at the beginning of the season last season.
It's your boy Chazz for the Fantasy Football Bros podcast, and here's a new segment for
That guy's
everybody.
handsome.
It's called "I am so scared right now." Stefon Diggs, you've been acting like a little bitch since the second round of the playoffs. You've been doing nothing but whining and crying about your role in the offense. You're the type of player that gives 110%, but when you're not happy, you're the type of player that's going to give 42%. I am so scared right now that Stefon Diggs is going to have a game with minimal targets, have a fit, and do jack shit for the rest of the season like a little bitch. I am so scared right now.
Wow, was I fucking right or what? Holy shit. And then again, like I thought I was wrong because that first, 4 games, he was fantastic so much that I traded for him. Because I had Josh and I wanted to pair the two in that league. And like everything I said there was true. I can't pinpoint the game. It was probably the Jacksonville game after the bye that he didn't get enough targets. And after that, from that game on, it was just, he was awful. And I don't know. I was ready to get rid of him last year. Had they got rid of him last year, they would have had the money this year to sign somebody like Michael Pittman or Calvin Ridley or T. Higgins. So in the long run, they should have got rid of him last year. But now his contract is on our books for this year. They could be coy and make some moves. Everyone's saying T. Higgins. I don't think it's happening. But say they traded for T. Higgins and paid him minimum this year and made his contract big starting next year. I don't know. I mean, T. Higgins is a better player right now than Stefon Diggs. But if you're going to fucking swing for the fences, man, just go after Double J. If you're going to swing.
Since I'm the only one that basically listened to Brandon Bean,
yes,
I would assume based off what I heard that we're not really going to probably do anything.
But he always sounds like that, though, in his press conferences, that nothing's going to happen, and all of a sudden this big miraculous thing goes on and everybody's happy again.
They're getting smarter with their contracts, meaning like I just said, just say this, the T. Higgins. So we're Diggs is on our books this year.
He ain't that smart. He fucking gave Diggs a 4-year extension and then traded him after 1 year into that 4-year extension and the Von Miller contract. And do we need to go on?
See, we hate it now, but if that second round pick they use in a package to move up and say get Malik Neighbors, then nobody cares.
But I would still say he's not great at salary cap since we were in salary cap hell, and he's
but a lot of teams go to salary cap hell every year. So it's, but those teams are also teams that are good, right? Like teams that are in salary cap hell, they figure out ways to do it and they get out of it. But
it's a copycat league.
It's
right?
it's
a copycat league. And so who's the dog right now? Who's the big dog? It's Kansas City. And Kansas City just proved after 2 consecutive Super Bowls that you don't need, allegedly, that you don't need to pay a wide receiver $20 million because they have a high priced tight end, but all their receivers make minimal money and they literally just won 2 Super Bowls in a row with a good tight end, a good defense, and a great quarterback. Well,
true.
The Bills have a good tight end who's not a rookie anymore. Thank fucking God. The shackles are off. He's not a rookie anymore, okay? So that's
hopefully
great for the conservative coaching staff. So now we got rid of our $20 million a receiver, and we got a bunch of whatevers. And still, remember, I'll tell you this right now. If the Buffalo Bills somehow get Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors, those guys are better than Stefon Diggs walking in the door. I'm not going to go as far as saying Dunzier is. I mean, Odunze could get there. You know, the other guys could get there. But if I'm telling you right now, Marvin Harrison Jr. is walking in the door of top 6 or 7 wide receiver talent-wise in the NFL. And I don't think Malik Neighbors is that bad. He might be top 15 receiver in the NFL when he walks in the door. There's other guys we'll have to wait to see. Those are 2 generational prospects, I think, coming out. So, like, if you could get one of those 2, but you got to get in the top 5 to get you got to get in the top 4 to get Marvin Harrison. The top 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks. Quarterback. And Harrison's coming off the board at 4, probably. I mean, I don't see Arizona not taking him. Who the fuck would Arizona take? They're not taking a quarterback. Kyler needs a little bit of help. They don't have a receiver. Who is Arizona's number 1 receiver right now? Here, let me help you.
Rondell Moore went to.
Here, let me help you.
Atlanta, I think.
Is it Greg Dortch?
Actually, don't know.
Is it Greg Dortch? Like, I don't even know the answer. They don't have D-Hop anymore. They didn't have him last year. They don't have Hollywood Brown. So if you want to get Marvin Harrison Jr., you got to get into the 4th. And do they have enough ammunition to get up there? Is 2 firsts and 2 twos going to get up there? Maybe.
What did we give up in the Diggs trade? Was it a 2nd round for this year?
It was when we got Diggs?
When we got Diggs, we traded
Diggs.
Was it?
When we got Diggs.
Oh, when we got Diggs.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We traded our 1st round pick that year, which they used to take Justin Jefferson. But we traded our 1st round pick that year, and I believe then the next year's 2nd, and then maybe a 5th or something.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember if it was a trade. I couldn't remember if it was the Diggs trade if we gave up like 2024 draft pick or something.
So if you think about it
I might be thinking of something different.
If you think about it like this, though, that trade, we gave up a 1st and a 2nd to get Diggs. We got back a 2nd. We got 4 productive years out of him. So I don't really think it's that bad of a trade. If you look at it like that, we traded a 1st round pick for 4 productive years. Well, you could have got Justin Jefferson. No, the only reason they got Justin Jefferson is because the fucking Eagles are idiots and took Jalen Reagor. That's the only reason. I mean,
right?
Who would have never thought that? So when it breaks down like that, but remember, guys, here's a big thing: we're a fantasy football show, so we do need to discuss it. This kind of fucks the other receivers in Houston. Because Nico Collins was like a 2nd round pick, slam dunk. Nico Collins was probably going to get drafted before Diggs, just off the cuff before this trade. And now it's like.
Wait, are you talking Nico Collins was a 2nd round pick in the actual NFL draft? Or
I'm talking. We're in fantasy. We're talking fantasy.
He was not a 2nd round pick in fantasy.
No. I'm talking coming into this season, Adam.
You're talking for next year.
Coming into this season, Nico Collins was probably a 2nd round pick. Stefon Diggs was probably a 2nd or 3rd round pick. So they were probably right around each other. At least in the few, professional mock drafts I've seen. So now this kind of handcuffs both of those guys. And when you're looking at it from a perspective of, yes, it does good for CJ Stroud, absolutely. But it kind of handcuffs both of them and handcuffs Tank Dell as well.
Yep.
So they're all lower, in my opinion. They are all lower, in my opinion. All 3 of them are lower.
Is Tank Dell starting the season? Because he got hurt late, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be ready for their practices. So I'm assuming he's probably going to start.
I'll tell you exactly when he got hurt.
He broke his leg.
It was when I was in New York City. It was December 2nd or whatever.
Okay, so that's late in this. So it was only a broken leg, though, right? It wasn't a torn ligament? I thought it was a torn ligament.
I think he just broke his leg.
Only.
I mean, it could be a lot worse
don't
than
get me
a broken
wrong.
leg.
That's what I'm saying, is the recovery for a broken leg is a little bit different than a torn ligament, is what I'm saying. That's why I was asking, because I couldn't remember if he tore an ACL or MCL. But if it's just a broken leg, then he probably should be ready.
I think this takes Tank Dell right out of any starting lineup. You're looking at Tank Dell now down in the double digits, probably.
Well, unless Diggs is really falling off the cliff, then.
Or that's a good question. Or is Diggs their wide receiver 3? Is Diggs their $40 million wide receiver 3?
There's no way they're gonna pay him all
For
that
$40
money.
million, he better not be a wide receiver 3.
So is he their wide receiver 1? Adam, you're on the clock. You're taking who are you taking? They're all there. You're in the second round or the third round, wherever you want to say. We're in the third round.
Honestly, it would just depend on who's left. Like, but if I have to choose out of those 3,
if you have to choose out of those 3,
I think I agree with Jay and what he said in the group chat about Diggs being a little bit more established, and I haven't seen enough Collins yet. I'd probably still take Diggs.
No, I'm taking Nico. I was taking Nico ahead of Diggs anyway.
And like I said, I think the majority of people are probably going to take Diggs just because wild. 6 straight seasons of over 1,000 yards. I mean,
wasn't it just 4? I think it was just 4.
No, I'm pretty sure it was like
because he was up for 4, and I don't think he had 2 in Minnesota. He had 4 straight with us, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure it was either 5 or 6.
Might be 4. But
either way, I'll tell you what, I'm not taking any of those guys in the second or third round.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at whoever else is available.
Like I was saying 2 weeks ago, I was listening to this like mock draft, all these professional fantasy football people, and Nico Collins went in the second round. And
he had 6 seasons in a row of 1,000 yards.
Was it 6? Oh, I didn't think he had 2 in Minnesota.
Yep.
All right, my B. I thought he only had 1. Splitting hairs anyway. But anyway, so like in the second round of that fantasy draft, man, this is before the NFL draft. Things change, but Nico Collins was like mid to early second round, like not too far past after the turn. And Stefon Diggs was almost a whole round later.
Yeah, I'll tell you this: I have the 10th pick in one of my fantasy leagues. I have my draft order already. I have the 10th pick. I'm not taking Diggs in the second.
Yeah. So, and I think it hurts Diggs. I think it hurts Collins.
Yep. It hurts all 3 of them.
Yeah, it really does. Fantasy football wise.
Yeah, you have no idea where this is going to go.
And I'll tell you what, Josh Allen's still my fantasy number 1 quarterback. I mean,
oh yeah.
I don't think it hurts Josh.
No, I don't think it hurts Josh.
Maybe a touch, but like,
well, it depends on what wide receiver we bring in to replace Diggs, and also how well that ugly looking wide receiver core kind of performs on the
shapes
field.
up.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be no difference when it comes down to the last 10 games. I don't think that any of those receivers that come in are going to be any worse than Stefon Diggs the last 10 games of the season. So if you plugged and played Brian Thomas Jr. even, he's not going to be any worse than fucking 40 what was it, 400 yards on 80 targets. He's not going to be any worse than that. Okay? And like honestly, Mac Hollins for Gabe Davis is a wash. They're the same guy, so whatever. This guy's cheaper. They're the same guy. They're the same build. Who cares? They're both bad. And then Curtis Samuel, who knows?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like Gabe Davis to Mac Hollins' wash. Stefon Diggs the last 10 games of the season. We're holding on to his seasons before, and I get it. But, I mean, those numbers shocked me. 80 receptions, 400 yards. That is not fucking good. That is not efficient. And he's an efficient receiver. He's not a guy that's getting consistent, like, 40-yard bombs over the shoulder. Jay even said in the beginning of the season, all of those targets are short passes that don't go anywhere. Well, then he should fucking catch them and get yards.
Yeah.
Right? So either we eliminate the middle one, so either he fell off a fucking cliff or is he being a little fucking bitch and screwed us. So either way, fuck him. Get rid of him. And I'm okay with it.
He potentially could have asked for a trade based on Brandon Beane's press conference too, because he was straight up asked if Diggs requested a trade, and Brandon Beane was just like, I don't have a comment.
Yeah, of course.
Which basically says that, yes, he did, because you would have been like, oh, no, it was like the team, we just thought this was better, blah, blah, blah. And
he did at the end of the season last year when he fucking stormed the locker room and packed up his fucking shit like a mad fucking ex-girlfriend. Like, I'm just over him. I was over him last year. I'm so happy. All the fucking people that I wanted off the team just to spite Bills Mafia are gone. It makes me happy. So now maybe they'll shut the fuck
I can't stand Bills Mafia, dude.
Bean wants you to know that he's competitive, though. So
I don't never said a bad thing about Bean. So Bean
yeah, I mean, I definitely
think
think he's competitive. I think he's going to find somebody. It just depends when.
No, it's just what he said in his press conference. He was like, "I'm competitive," and he's like, "I want to win." And
that's not as bad as Sean McDermott saying we're not conservative.
Yeah.
I just think Brandon Bean. I do think he's got something up his sleeve. We have to wait and see. I mean, nothing's going to happen this week. Nothing's going to happen next week. The earliest that something is going to happen for the Bills is draft day, whether it be a draft day trade or they draft the wide receiver. Or
he's not afraid to move up. He's not afraid to move up. But now I was worried about him moving up to get Brian Thomas to pair with Stefon Diggs. Now you're not pairing with Stefon Diggs, so you might want to get up a little higher, even if you have to trade into the top 10 to get in Dunzo.
To replace Stefon Diggs.
But I don't know.
He basically kind of said that. He's like, he's like, nothing's going to happen right away. He's like, whatever we do, he's like, I want to have it in place by the time we go to training camp, basically.
But I also want to alleviate some pressures on people. Adam, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to tell you right or wrong. Who's the best receiver in the league?
Right now? Ooh, on the spot, eh?
Go ahead, just throw a name out there. It's not a big deal. I just want to make a point on something. Just throw a name out there.
Justin Jefferson.
Okay, he was drafted in like the 20s of the draft. Jay, who's number 2?
Sure.
What's his name from the Cowboys?
You're going to go CeeDee Lamb? He was mid to maybe like 16, 17, 18 of the draft. Okay. I'll say Jamar Chase. He's an outlier. He was like 4th overall. Adam, who's next?
4th best receiver in the league?
Yeah.
Ooh, man, this is hard.
Are you going to say...
Probably Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. He was a 3rd round pick. Let's say Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was a 4th round pick. Let's say Michael Pittman. He was a 2nd round pick. Let's say T. Higgins. He was a 2nd round pick.
Tyreek Hill.
AJ Brown.
Tyreek Hill was a 5th round pick. AJ Brown was a 2nd round pick.
These are not official orders, by the way, so please don't kill us in the comments.
We're just throwing out names. DK Metcalf was a 2nd round pick. So what I'm trying to get at is like we, including myself, need to just take it back that just because we don't get a Dunze or Neighbors, Harrison's no chance. If we don't get Neighbors or a Dunze, that doesn't mean that Brian Thomas isn't going to turn into Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman was a 2nd round pick. We would love to have him here right now. So like that's what I'm getting at is like the receiver position all of a sudden is like deep, and it really is. Everybody sips over George Pickens, right? George Pickens was a 2nd round pick. So it doesn't matter that we don't get the top 2 or 3. I would love the top 2 or 3. So don't get me wrong. And I hope they do because this is like the most stacked receiver class in a decade. Okay? The closest thing I could think about it was 10 years ago with Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, what was it? Brandon Cooks, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Kelvin Benjamin. They all, that's fantastic receiver class. So
anybody at any point has the ability to be great, right? You just don't know.
Right. So
you have your guys that you know, and then everybody else is just
who was the best rookie receiver last year? Puka Nacua, a 5th round pick, right? And who was his
even
Cooper Kupp, a 4th round pick.
Even Tank Dell was a stud before he got hurt, and he wasn't a high pick.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't an early round pick for sure.
So I honestly don't think that we have the capital to get up into the top 3 though for wide receiver.
He's a pipe dream. We also got to remember, guys, that we could have Travis Kelce on our hands. We could. We really could. We could. I mean, no, that's fucking high praise. But Travis Kelce didn't get storm into his like 2nd or 3rd year, right? And this kid was already pretty storming. Like by the end of the season, Sam Laporta's numbers were a lot better than Dalton Kincaid, but when they actually used Dalton Kincaid, he was putting up Sam Laporta numbers. Just he didn't get as many touchdowns. So like,
well, you're right, exactly. He didn't get a lot of looks late in the season either.
I mean, our offense struggled quite a bit too. So
yeah, like we went on a 6-game winning streak, but those games were ugly.
So Kincaid coming into a second year and them finally going, you're not a stupid fucking rookie anymore. Fucking that is fantastic. You know, I know we got shorter, and you know, we're talking Curtis Samuel. I see Samueler. We're just saying Samueler. Curtis Samueler for
no, you're saying Samueler.
Mac Hollins, but don't forget,
Jay and I are saying Curtis Samuel.
None of us barely mentioned Khalil Shakir. I mean, he was turning it up at the end of the season.
I've always liked Khalil
because I forgot this guy was on our roster. KJ Hamler.
Yeah, he's on a practice. He's on the reserves though.
And then Shorter, of course.
Yeah.
Who could be DK
Metcalf
when
he's healthy.
Hurt the whole year. So we're not as dire straits. I'll tell you what.
No.
Josh
a lot of people are just freaking out.
Josh Allen in 2019 got us to the playoffs. Who are our top 3 receivers? Do you guys remember?
Oh, God. In 2019? Jesus.
John Brown, Cole Beasley.
Was it Emmanuel Sanders?
No, it was before then. Was it Duke Williams?
Maybe.
Oh, because Duke Williams had that one good game, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Duke Williams is so good."
So it might have been those 3. Duke Williams was up, but it was definitely John Brown and Cole Beasley, not fucking world beaters, right? And Josh got us to the playoffs. He was still young. He was coming into his own. So you bring in Diggs. He levels up. He's in fucking God mode now. So now you got rid of your $30 million, $40 million crybaby whining receiver. And you draft one this year. You draft one next year. Maybe you make a move. Justin Jefferson is pipe dreams. T. Higgins isn't locked up yet. Maybe you make a move for T. Higgins. Ayuk isn't locked up yet. Maybe you make a move for Ayuk. Who knows? But Bean is not afraid to make moves. He's not going to just rely on the draft. He traded for Stefon Diggs. You know, he's traded up to get his guy. He traded up to get Kincaid. He's traded up multiple times to get his guy. So I think Bean really likes somebody. And if he really likes this guy, I trust it. I trust him. I trust that he's going to get there. He's not going to make this move. We'll just say he likes Adunzie. Okay, Adunzie is going to be a top 10 pick. He has something in place with Tennessee, maybe. Tennessee, I think, is in the top 10, right? Where it's like, we want this guy. You're not going to take Adunzie. You've got 2 fucking Lamborghinis already that you're not going to use. So, let's make a deal. We'll give you 2 firsts and a second or something to get up into that spot because they're rebuilding. They need the draft picks, right? He has these conversations with people already. If you watch that thing last year, he said to Terry Pagula, he's like, "Can we make a move up if somebody's there we want?" And he's like, "Well, who do you want?" He's like, "Well, we really like that tight end from Utah." He's like, "Well, yeah, if he's getting close, we'll talk about it." And he fell. They made a move, boom, and got it. So I think he's already got something in place. And I could be wrong, but I would almost guarantee that the Buffalo Bills are not picking 28th. Like, that doesn't mean they're trading into the top 4.
I agree with,
but they're not picking 28. That they're not picking 28. They might even pick 19, but still, they're not picking 28.
Right.
And that's my...
You know, I don't hate what we have right now as of today, right? Like, I was in an argument earlier in my other group chat, my fantasy football team, and he immediately was like, Bills are done. They traded Diggs. It's like, dude.
Watch football.
Relax. I'm like, did you see Diggs' performance at the end of last year? You know, and it was, again, it was, you know, someone made the comment of Josh is declining and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
what?
No.
What?
Like, what are you talking about?
What? Can I be in this league?
Dude, hold on. Let me find out what it was.
Josh is declining. Literally,
it was something about quarterbacks. Hold on, I'll find it. Let me pull this up.
Josh is declining. Guy just finished 3 out of 4 years as fantasy football number 1, and this is
even if we
were talking about the Texans and how they got Diggs, and he's still, he could be a good receiver for them, and they have Collins and Dell and whatever. And I said, Texans win the South easily. And someone said, you forget how NFL has tape on Stroud. I said, okay, they had tape on Mahomes, Lamar, Josh, Jalen Hurts, and guess what? They're still good.
You just gave Lamar credit. Holy shit.
I did. Edit that out. No, but the point being was he was like, oh, now they have tape on Stroud. Okay, well, they had tape on all those other guys too after their first years.
Yeah, and
guess what? I'm not saying that they're all the same type of player, but I'm saying good quarterbacks, regardless of the tape being on them, are still good quarterbacks.
Guys, I have a news report here from Adam from a year ago. Oh no,
shitting
guys.
On Lamar. Oh,
no,
geez,
let's see what this happens. Jerry, are you ready for this news report from Adam from a year ago on our TikTok?
I can't.
Yeah.
Bro, I can barely remember what happened yesterday.
Let's see this report from Adam from a year ago, guys. This is breaking news from the No Nickname Nonsense Adam Van Halen.
From the Fantasy Football Bros podcast, I am the No Nickname, No Nonsense Adam.
Oh, come on. You can't use this against me. You were fucking
Sanders, a top 10 running back in 2023, who was able to generate 4.9 yards per carry on 259 carries last year, which was good for 1,269 yards rushing. He also had 11 total touchdowns. Now,
Adam, was Miles Sanders a top
No, he was not. But that wasn't the point of the segment, you fuck.
Wait,
the
we
point
got
of
one.
the segment was...
We're not the only one. Hang on.
What's going on, everyone? It's the man, the myth, the legend, Jay Coleman here from Fantasy Football Bros podcast with today's.
Dude, you see what he's doing?
Will you wait? Top 5 NFL QB this year. He had a great year last year, and he's only going to get better from there. He was top 5 in fantasy points 4 weeks last year. He's top 10 in yards, top 5 in TDs, and
we all have bad calls, and let me find mine real quick.
All right, you know what?
Bad call.
I got a bad one here.
Who knew Gino was going to Gino again?
Just wait for it. Here's my bad one.
What's up? It's your boy Chazz from the Fantasy Football Bros podcast, and here's my why not for today. Why not? Trevor Lawrence is becoming a top 5.
You just totally twisted that whole thing.
I'm calling myself out too.
Of all time.
Here, I'll even call myself out with 2 of them. I just saw another
again. Yeah, your Darren Waller one that I was going to point out. No, the point of the segment was this segment was to say, why can't these guys be that? They could be. They just weren't. Okay, that doesn't make us wrong. That doesn't make it right.
It was just fun since I was there and I saw them all.
Oh my god! You just completely blew that out of proportion.
We're gonna do them again.
Yes, they were all very bad. Every single one of those guys was very bad. But that wasn't the point of the segment.
I believe another one of mine was Kirk Cousins, the top 5 quarterback, but he got hurt.
We weren't saying that those guys were going to be, but we were giving reasons why they could.
Well, you better think again this year, because
I will
never say
anything about Miles Sanders ever again.
But what your argument there about Miles Sanders doing great is my argument that Saquon could be the best running back in football this year too, being on that Eagles offensive.
Yeah, if you're happy with Miles Sanders' stats from the Eagles.
But I mean, it's just a completely different fucking animal. So I mean, I'm interested to see like the few mock drafts that I've seen has had Saquon at least 4. It usually goes in running backs, and again, these aren't official drafts yet because you haven't had, but none of the rookie running backs are going to matter. It usually goes in some sequence of Christian McCaffrey, and then 2 and 3 are either Bijan and Kyron, or Kyron and Bijan, and then 3 and 4 are usually like Kyron and Saquon, or you know what I mean? Though it's usually Christian and then those 3 guys in some kind of order. No, I lied. I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. It's not Kyron. I'm sorry. It goes Christian, Breece Hall, and then 3 and 4 are usually 3, 4, and 5 are usually Kyron, Bijan, and Saquon. I forgot about Breece Hall.
Wild.
But
I'm not whoever's. I don't know. Yeah, to be in the top 5, not number 2. Kyron definitely earned it.
Adam, he carried us both to a championship last year. He was awesome.
No, CeeDee Lamb carried us to a championship last year.
Breece Hall, Breece Hall finished as RB2, I believe.
Breece Hall was good. I'm not saying he was bad.
Let's actually, since we're talking about that, let me bring that up. I'm pretty sure Breece Hall finished as RB2. Let's see. Let me bring up this website here too. Okay, running back for the whole season in PPR. That's 2022 because it was not Austin Eckler. I'll tell you that much.
No, it was not.
It was Breece Hall was RB2 last year.
Who was
so 3 was Ass Etienne. So Kyron was 7. You want to hear your top 10?
He got hurt.
Here's your top 10. Christian, Breece Hall, Ass Etienne, Rashad White. That was a team on a tear at the end of the season.
He sure did.
Raheem Mostert, Joe Mixon, Kyron Williams,
H-N.
Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, and Jahmyr Gibbs. That was your top 10.
Not bad. Where did H-N fall to
by the way,
getting hurt?
Number 12, surprising. James Cook.
Top 15 with missing games.
James Cook was number 12.
That was Cook at 12.
Oh, yeah. James Cook was number 12. Here, let me throw out some random names for you. Kamara was 11, but we know he had some big receiving games. James Cook was 12. Saquon was 13, and that I thought he is actually worse than that, honestly. He missed a few games, too. So Saquon finished 13 and missed 4 games. I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised by that. Jerome Ford was 16. David Montgomery was 17. James Conner was 18.
Hurt.
Devon Chan was 24.
Really? He was – so when H-Chan went down with injury, the week that he went down, for like 3 or 4 weeks after that, I'm pretty sure him and Mostert were still in the top 5.
Yeah, they were both crushed.
That's how many points that they both had in the beginning of the season before H-Chan went down.
Here's an interesting one of a guy.
That's crazy.
Up. This guy missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, and he finished 33. But he missed 7 games. Was Jonathan Taylor? It's not bad for missing 7 games. Same thing with Aaron Jones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He missed 6 games. He finished 37. Yeah. So
I don't know. Fantasy's going to be, fantasy's always tough after free agency when guys are going to new teams and playing with new guys, and it's like, because you can't really base. Go ahead.
So both of you guys, even though, since we're on the discussion of receiver or running backs here, even though Breece Hall comes back from an ACL injury, finishes 2nd overall with fucking Zach Wilson, you don't think he's worth the 2nd quarterback coming back? The 2nd receiver or 2nd running back coming back? After coming back from an ACL, finishing 2nd with Zach Wilson, now that you got Aaron Rodgers coming back, he's not worth a 2nd overall, 2nd running back?
Oh, I mean, you're asking me personally. I'm taking Kyron Williams.
Yeah, so am I.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's not worth it. He absolutely is worth it. And now he's got Aaron Rodgers coming back.
That's what I'm saying. But it doesn't matter, guys, because Christian McCaffrey had 100 points more than Breece Hall. He had
did Breece Hall play every single game?
Yes.
I think he did.
Yes. Christian McCaffrey.
They just gave him like a slow start in the beginning. I think they didn't want to like really let him go until like week 5.
But what I'm saying is Christian McCaffrey scored 101 more points than 2nd place.
I mean,
that's ridiculous.
Christian McCaffrey is insane.
That's
2 healthy seasons in a row for Christian McCaffrey, by the way.
Is he due, though?
Probably.
And, by the way, Christian McCaffrey did not play the last week of the season.
True.
So, that's wild.
Still scored over 100 more points than the 2nd place running back in the league.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
That is friggin' wild.
That's wild.
So here's a random thought since I'm looking at this. Since we mentioned him earlier, and I'm not asking you guys to look up, I don't expect you to have the right answer. Where did your boy, since we're talking about him, CJ Stroud finish last year at quarterback? Started every game but 2. So he didn't play 2 games. I'll give you that, brother.
I'm going to say 7th.
You're going to say 7th. Jay, what do you think?
12th.
Jay was close. He finished 11th.
Oh, wow.
Which kind of surprised me because I thought he would have been much better. Now, I know he missed 2 games. But, like, I honestly thought
that's probably why he dropped to 12th. Because he missed 2 games.
I thought he would have been a little higher. But looking at it, well, you know, you can say 2.5 because he got hurt in the one game. So 2.5. But so I just thought he would have been a little bit higher. Outscored by Baker Mayfield. and Tua and Mahomes and all that stuff. So, you know, just interesting. Where is he going to be now that he's got Diggs, right? Who are you taking him over? I mean, are you taking Adam? Just give me a yes or no. Are you taking Josh over him?
Am I taking Josh Allen over CJ Stroud?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know people are going to start saying Stroud's up there. What about Jalen Hurts?
I'm taking Hurts first.
What about Prescott?
I'm taking Dak first.
What about Lamar Jackson?
See, that's the rock in a hard place because I fucking hate Lamar Jackson. But I'm taking Lamar over CJ Stroud.
Okay, now this is where you're going to start being wrong. Here's your next 4 guys. So, okay, here's your top 10 of your. I was going through the top 12 actually. So here's your top 12. Josh Allen was 1. Jalen Hurts 2. Dak was 3. Lamar was 4. Just like we all drew it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love was 5. Brock Purdy was 6. Jared Goff was 7. Patrick Mahomes was 8. Tua was 9. Baker was 10. Stroud was 11. And Sam Howell was 12.
Wow. I'm taking
no Herbert.
I'm taking Stroud over Love, Purdy. Who are the other ones?
Okay, that's a good one. We'll just say Love and Purdy because they were ahead of Patrick Mahomes, but you're not that crazy. Goff was up there. Tua.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely taking him over Goff.
So why Love and Purdy? Love. Why? Like we know I focus on I love Love, and you guys love Purdy. So that's an interesting topic. So why they finished 5 and 6?
Whoa, easy.
But here they finished 5 and 6. Love played a whole season. Purdy missed 1 game. They sat him in week 18.
Okay, so how many yards did Purdy have?
I don't have that pulled up. Hang on.
Oh, I thought you had it. How many fantasy points did Purdy have?
306.
And how many did Stroud have at 12?
280. But these guys are so close. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, but he missed 2 games. You don't think he was going to get?
But Purdy missed 1 game. So we'll just call it 1 game.
True.
We'll say Purdy had 1 more game than him. And maybe they tie. Okay, so maybe they tie. Now, I'm with you. I'm taking Stroud over Purdy. I'm with you. What about you, Jay?
You hate Purdy, though, so it's no surprise.
Well, what about you? What are you doing in that situation?
I don't know, because I don't really like the Texans to begin with. So
Neither did any of us at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and we were all wrong. So
yeah, you're absolutely right.
But now that we're going to go on, we're going to be on the Texans. They're going to like shit the bed so that we all look like assholes again.
Right.
But I would probably take a chance on Stroud
over Purdy. Wow, and you guys love Purdy. Well, then what about All You Need Is Love? Why are you taking him over All You Need Is Love? This guy scored 330.
I would probably take Love over Stroud.
Adam, let me preface this with you that
I hate Green Bay.
Scored 330. Jordan Love had 8 points less than Lamar Jackson, NFL MVP.
Well, Lamar's comes from rushing.
Sure, but so the NFL MVP, Jordan Love had 8 points less. So Jordan Love was 8 points less from being in 4th place.
Undeserved MVP.
Sure.
So why is it a slam dunk that you're taking? Now he had 50 points more than Love or than CJ Stroud, and Stroud, we already said, missed 2 games. So sure, they could have tied. Okay, so then they're even in point wise.
I just think if Stroud played those 2 games, that he'd be up in the 300s and probably close to top 3.
But so you're more comfortable taking Stroud over Love. That's a line right there. That's an interesting line, I think, because you got to remember your top 4: Allen, Hurts, Prescott, Lamar. Somebody's taking taking going to be Burrow. Burrow's going to be taking the top.
Burrow,
Mahomes,
Herbert, Mahomes.
No way, Herbert. Not a chance.
I think people will take him.
No, not even. He's got no receivers, guys. He's on a running team.
People will still take him.
That's wild. I don't over what?
I think Jay is thinking about everybody else, and
sure. But where? Where are you going to put him? So let's just say this: Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson. We're got to throw Patrick Mahomes in there at 5. We're going to throw Joe Burrow in there at 6. Okay, because they're down lower, but someone's going to take Mahomes in the top 5 quarterbacks,
sure.
And he deserves to be there, and so does Joe Burrow. So you got Allen, Hurts, Prescott, Jackson, and then Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. There's your top 6. So your next 2 on this list are Love and Purdy. You're thinking? Is that where?
I think that's where my line where I'd start thinking about taking Stroud. Yes.
What about Herbert? No, but what about you, Jay?
I won't take Herbert. Somebody will, but I wouldn't.
You think?
Wow. I think someone would take Herbert there
you
for
think
sure.
People are taking Herbert over Love and Purdy for real?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
really? Okay, even though he's got no wide receivers, no tight end.
I agree. That's why I'm not taking him. But there's somebody out. There are people out there that are going to go. Yeah, Herbert's still good.
Ooh. Chazz, there's people that do dumber than that. So I mean, like, there's definitely people that are going to be like, "Oh yeah, Justin Herbert's my guy."
What about
anyway?
What about a receiving core of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, and the number 1 overall quarterback? Do you think he's a top 10
I'm not
guy?
taking Caleb Williams.
I'm just saying, do you think he's a top 10 to 12 guy?
No, but I have a feeling someone will probably take him in the top 10.
I think he could be considered for a top 12 guys, and this is why. Here's another receiver here's another quarterback that's going to be in the top 8, I think, guys. And now you can get rid of you, because you guys, including Dave, are like Sean McDermott when it comes to rookies. Well, Anthony Richardson ain't a rookie anymore. So Anthony Richardson was drafted like a top 10 to 12 to 13 quarterback last year in his rookie year. You got to think he'll be in the top 10 again, right? Drafted?
Maybe top 10.
That's what I'm saying.
So he was playing. I mean, he definitely was playing very well before he got injured, right? So
so that's a name we're
definitely worth the consideration.
It's a name we're forgetting about too.
Yeah.
So I don't think Caleb Williams is going to be a top 10 to 12, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was. If you're looking down at 10 and just looking here, Baker Mayfield, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Russell Wilson, like, why not take Caleb Williams over those guys?
Yeah, I mean,
why not take Caleb Williams
based on his receiving core now? Yeah, I think you can safely take Caleb Williams. But you're not taking him anywhere near the top 10, though.
No, I just
10 quarter, maybe 11. I guess I can't say not near, because it is going to be near the top 10, right?
Here's the for sure
10-man league. You're taking 10 quarterbacks, and now you're looking at backups. Like, where do you take Caleb Williams?
We're going to throw this on. We're going to throw this on Jay. Jay, just give me a yes or no. Obviously, who are you taking first? Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, right? Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. Those guys.
Yep.
Okay. Jordan Love.
Yep.
Who you taking? Okay. Brock Purdy.
Over
Caleb Williams.
Purdy.
Jared Goff. That's the interesting one.
That's a tough. Yeah. I don't know. I might go Goff.
Tua.
Might go Tua.
Baker.
Maybe Caleb Williams.
So if you do it in that route, Caleb's looking like 12th. Possible starter.
Yeah.
Right? Possible starter. Because CJ Stroud, yes, of course. Sam Howell, no. Trevor Lawrence, maybe. Matt Stafford, maybe, right? So he's looking in that range. Justin Fields, maybe. But, I mean, talk about, dude, Caleb Williams has way better weapons than Justin Fields already, like walking into the league. Oh, you know who we're forgetting, too, that's going to be higher than we're expecting is Kyler Murray. He's not going to be – he's going to be a top 10 to 12 guy, right?
Yeah, if they can find him a receiver.
Right. So, I mean, just because of his wheels alone. So
Sure.
and Anthony Richardson. So it's actually a pretty plethora of quarterbacks this year. Like I think you've got Allen, you've got Hurts. Can't miss. You're going to get your points, especially just because of their running. And then you have a next level of like Mahomes, Jackson. I know he finished third, but I don't trust Prescott to be there, to be in that level. And then you have the next level of like Prescott.
I do.
I don't. Good for you. One good year finally, Dak, after fucking 8.
That's fine.
And you're the one that said Patrick Mahomes is going to be the best quarterback in the league. So, because in fantasy last year, because he finished, you like to rely on last year, not the upcoming year. I remember we had a heated discussion last year on how Patrick Mahomes is going to be number one because he was number one last year, and I was just like mind-boggling.
I mean, that's generally how all the rankings are based off of your last year's
based
stats.
on last year.
So,
yeah, but you got to look into the upcoming season, like Dak.
But I mean, like, who would have predicted that Mahomes wasn't going to finish in the top 3 at the same time?
I don't think
not one person ever said Mahomes was going to fall out of the top 5. Not one.
I don't think I said that. I think I had him in the top 5. I think I had him in the top 3. I don't remember.
Every single person on earth had Mahomes in the top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
Every single person. Find me an analyst or an expert that said Mahomes is going to be out of the top 5. You can't. It doesn't exist.
You could probably even say top 3.
Right.
So
yeah, probably top 3. Right. And I was the one that with the pie on my face because I believe had Mahomes second, and I had Jalen Hurts lower. I was wrong. So, because I thought Jalen Hurts was going to be figured out with the tush push, and he finished second overall. So, and then I thought the tush push was going to be figured out. But I'm feeling that way again. It's going to be figured out now that Kelsey's gone. I think that's going to make so much. That doesn't say he's not going to be a great fantasy quarterback, but I just don't think he's going to have that success with the tush push without Kelsey. They've never had that opportunity to show they could do it without Kelsey. And they always say that that's the most important piece of the tush push is the center. So I don't know. Yeah, because like no other team can replicate it, but other teams have big, fast running quarterbacks. They don't have Kelsey. So, I think that's the difference because even Anthony Richardson got stopped a few times with the same coach that created it, same big, fast running, strong quarterback, weren't as successful. They didn't have Kelsey. So I'm really interested to see where that goes coming up. It's a little fantasy, byline coming into this. So before we go, I do want to go over real quick since it's coming up, Jay, we like to talk about it, and Adam can put his 2 cents in, even though he probably has no idea what's going on, about WrestleMania this weekend.
No clue.
We have a 2-night WrestleMania.
I just recently learned that The Rock is back in WWE.
Yeah. And I'm so out of the loop of like the last 4 months that he's like, The Rock's back? What?
4 months, dude. I'm way longer than that.
So
The Rock's
when he
been
came
around
back
for like 4 months
ago?
I don't know. Feels like it.
Oh, shit.
Came back right after the Rumble. Rumble's in January.
No idea.
All right, so we're going to go over it real quick. Adam can hear. He doesn't know what's going on, so he doesn't have to make a prediction. But night one, there's 2 nights now. This Saturday night, WrestleMania 40. This is a projected card, but they know what matches are in night 1. They know what matches are in night 2. So we'll just start here. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. And then you have Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill against Damage Control for women's 3-way. Hey now. 6-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. Judgment Day, Awesome Truth, DIY, New Day, New Catch Republic, A-Town. Who cares? And then you're going on to a big match, Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. A big match, Gunther versus Sami Zayn. A huge match, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Championship. And a huge, huge match of The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. How does that night 1 card sound to you, Jay?
Sounds pretty good. I mean, there's a little bit in the beginning that's like, but that's every year. So
yeah, that's Mania.
You got to have a little bit of crap sprinkled in with the good stuff.
Yeah. What do you? Well, yeah, go ahead. Because you're on the outside here.
If I have Peacock, I have WWE Network, right?
You sure do.
Can I watch the pay-per-view?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just go over to the WWE tab and it's on. So that's Saturday night, but it's a 2-night one. But Jay,
I definitely have to check out the Rock's match for sure.
Jay, what's your prediction? Gunther versus Sammy.
Gunther.
Yeah. Rhea versus Becky.
I feel like the WWE is going to go with Becky, but I would like to see Rhea.
I'm sticking with Rhea. And then the Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth. So if the Rock and Roman win, Cody Rhodes has to be in a what is it, Bloodline Rules match or whatever.
Something like that.
So to me, that automatically for me that's automatically means the Rock and Roman win.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. So that's
what the fuck is that match?
They're just setting it up so everyone can interfere and beat up Cody, I bet. But Here we go. Night 2. Night 2. Here we go. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament. Nobody cares. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. That's going to be fucking awesome. A triple threat match for the United States Championship. Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. That match might be the best match of both nights. You heard me.
I still like Randy Orton, so
Logan Paul's great and Kevin Owens is great. So I mean that match could steal the show. WWE
is Logan Paul actually a good wrestler?
He's fantastic.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean he's definitely good. Like his whole like persona and everything is really good, and
he's athletic. He's good.
What is his gimmick?
Him.
It's just Logan Paul.
Yeah, it's just him. Yeah,
he's him.
Okay, I might have to watch WrestleMania this year.
Dude, it's good, and we still got 3 more women's championship match. Io Sky versus Bayley, the World Heavyweight Championship match, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, and the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns, who's been champion for nearly 4 fucking years. And that's not even exaggeration. He won the title in 2020.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Because he's going to finish his story. It's probably going to be in the Bloodline Rules, which means they can all interfere. So Jay, triple threat match, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. Who's winning the title?
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton? Okay.
I mean, that's who I like Randy Orton, but it'll probably be Logan Paul.
I think Logan Paul hangs on to it. Io Sky versus Bayley. Honestly, I really don't know. Probably Bayley.
Probably.
Seth Rollins versus Drew.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think CM Punk's going to interfere, obviously.
Yeah, probably.
No, but, and I'll tell you this after. I think Seth Rollins wins. CM Punk and McIntyre go off on their way. And then you're going to hear me say it now. Damian Priest cashes in Money at the Bank and takes the title from Seth.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Because
I can see that.
Seth don't need it at that point. And then Damian Priest got to fucking cash it in sometime. He's had it almost a whole year.
Yeah.
A lot of people think he's going to do it at the next match, but I don't think so. Anyway, the big match. Will Cody finish his story? Cody, let me set the stage for you at home and for you, Adam. Cody Rhodes, 2 years ago, WrestleMania, makes his big return from AEW and comes to WWE as a surprise match against Seth Rollins. And he has a banger match against him. He has another banger match against him. And then he's working out and he tears his pec, like for real, and then wrestles that night and is out for months. And then comes back at last year's Royal Rumble and wins the thing. And then goes on to WrestleMania and gets stomped out by Roman Reigns and his cousins. And then all summer, I mean, Cody's overcoming everything. He's beating Brock Lesnar. He's beating everybody. And then he wins the fucking Rumble again. And then The Rock comes back and takes his place. And then Cody's like, nah, brah. Cody's all like, that was the wrong one. But Cody's all like, this is my spot. So now he's getting jumped by The Rock. He's getting jumped by Roman Reigns. He's getting jumped by Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. And now, if he loses night 1, he's going to have to be in the Bloodline Rules match, whatever that fucking means, which means he's going to lose night 1. And then night 2, they're all going to be stomping on his ass. But I do think that finally, after over a year of building and after a 4-year championship runs, it comes to an end, and Cody Rhodes is your new Universal Champion. Jay, what do you think?
I'm going to be extremely disappointed if Cody doesn't win, because I'm fucking sick of Roman Reigns being the champion for 4 fucking straight years.
It's time now.
I gotta say, the WWE probably has a number in mind for Roman Reigns when he loses the title, I don't think it's 4 years. That's just a weird number for me.
I think it's time.
It's too stagnant at this point.
Yeah.
Like
It's
4 years for the same guy doing the same thing night in and night out and always winning.
Yeah, I think it's time now because it makes Cody.
I mean, they did it for what? They did it for 21 fucking years with The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but that's not the same as like
doing the same thing over and over again. Tombstone motherfuckers to the ring.
But the championship.
I understand he's not a championship, but like,
I think it's time. It makes Cody a big star. I think this is where they can go in their separate ways, and then Roman could get in a fucking feud with The Rock, and your SummerSlam headline could be Roman against The Rock, and that would be great. And then Cody goes on and faces Gunther.
I think Gunther's
what? Mania?
Is that like this coming weekend?
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Like 2 days from now?
Yes. Yeah. Saturday and Sunday. So like I think there's a chance I think Gunther might lose the title and go after Cody, who's new champ. So and if Damian Priest interferes, I think it's going to be against the Seth match, not the Cody match. I can't see Cody overcoming this after a whole year holding up the title and then fucking Priest coming in. I just can't see that.
Definitely.
What time does this start?
Your time, probably 6 or 7.
That early?
Yeah, probably 6 or 7. So, all right. Well, did you say you think Cody's?
Well, am I going to be? No, I think they could give it to Roman again.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with Cody.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. Yeah, and you can watch it on Peacock. And then also,
are the what are the shit matches first? Like, well, I'll be getting off the golf course.
Yeah.
Probably around 6.
Well, usually they'll start off with a good match. And then whatever they'll start with a great match, end with a great match usually.
Yeah. If I do miss it though, I can replay it, right?
Yeah. It will be ready as soon as it's over.
Sick.
So, all right. Well, we got our WrestleMania talk in. Maybe we'll be back next week to talk about WrestleMania, unless there's other trade news happening. So, all right, Jay, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Adam,
wait, we're not doing Weddle?
No, we're already over an hour, so we're gonna cut it here. Adam, thank you for joining us.
Chazz couldn't shut up.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. And fuck you, Stefon Diggs. All right, guys, until next time, we'll see you then. Peace.
Canceled.
Later, guys.
See you guys.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.